No need to whine, it's whiny palooza. Have some wine and join us on the Whiny Palooza podcast with Rebecca Greene.
Welcome to the Whiny Palooza podcast. I'm your host, Rebecca Greene. I'm a wife, mother of 3, and licensed clinical social worker. I also have 3 fur babies at home too. My passion has always been to help children and their families. I always dreamed of being a wife and a mother. Parents are always learning through their struggles, failures, and successes and joys. I am no stranger to this wild ride of parenting, and I know behind every great parent lies a team of supportive friends and family. I want to be part of your support system. I want you to know that you are not alone. We are in this parenting world together. Join me every week for insightful discussions with experts on parenting and marriage, as well as other parents who have found the secret to successes in parenthood. You'll learn tips and tricks to make life with your family better than ever. I hope you will follow along with me while we dive into what it takes to achieve a happy family. Hello, everyone. This is Rebecca Greene for the Whiny Palooza podcast, and I get to interview my very favorite guest, my husband, Seth Greene. Seth, thanks for doing this with me today.
Thank you. It is an honor to be your favorite and most repeated guest, and it is a privilege to be here.
Can you turn your camera down a little bit for your wife so that I see more of you? Thank you. I would like to see more of my husband. And most of you listen to podcasts. You can also watch this podcast on Facebook and on YouTube. And Seth, I'm interviewing you because of your birthday. Seth's birthday is March 23rd. We're recording this before his birthday. So happy almost birthday, honey.
Thank you.
So this is a wonderful excuse to interview you because I have mentioned this to you over the last several months. You are one of my requested guests, and people have asked me to interview you because they want to learn from your success. So I am listening to the masses, and I have gotten this request several times, so I am delivering.
Wow, I'm flattered.
And people want to learn from you. And I want you to first introduce yourself because I did not ask you for the list and I screw it up. Tell everyone about your businesses.
Okay, so I'm a serial entrepreneur. As you mentioned, I own a number of businesses. I own howtofindmoneyforcollege.com, which is a college financial aid negotiation business helping families cut the cost of college tuition. I own Silver Spoon Financial, which is an investment and retirement tax reduction firm. I own Market Domination, which is a direct response marketing agency helping businesses grow. I own BMD Publishing, which is a podcast and production firm helping businesses grow. I own the Wealth Protection Alliance, which is a nonprofit membership organization for business owners. And I own Prime Media Networks, which is an online email newsletter company.
No way I could have done that unless he typed the whole thing out. I am a terrible wife that I can't do that off the cuff.
You are not a terrible wife. I couldn't do yours.
I want you to type it out so that I can study it.
Okay, I can do that.
And I want you to be patient with me because, as you know, because you saw me working on it, I have a lot of questions for you. So we're gonna get through my questions because I want to learn from you, and I know so many other people want to learn from you. And I got like tears in my eyes when you were going over all your businesses, Seth. It's very overwhelming hearing all of your businesses. How are you balancing all of these businesses? How are you doing it?
I am not balancing them. Barbara Corcoran from Shark Tank once told me that balance is BS and boundaries rule. I haven't quite adopted her, haven't quite gotten to her level of boundaries yet, but I'm still working on it. I think I am. There's no mythical seesaw balance where everything is perfectly aligned. I think different areas of your life and different businesses, in my case, take different amounts of time. There might be a week where I do nothing, for example, on the Wealth Protection Alliance, but maybe How to Find Money for College, right, is extra busy right now because it's college admission season. So I think they rotate in terms of how much each one takes. So I don't know if I'm balancing it as opposed to just juggling hey, at one point I'm out of balance in favor of this thing, and next week it might be something else.
That is a really good answer. And I told my guest yesterday that you gave me a piece of advice that has stuck with me always, that helps me every single day, because I asked you for advice and you said to be where your feet are. Do you remember telling me that? And
I do.
I will keep telling women that, because that was really good advice for me. Because the moms who feel guilty when they're at work, or they feel guilty when they're at a field trip, but they should be at work. And it's like, there's so much like guilt and responsibility, and I should be doing this and I should be doing that. And I just want you to know that was the best advice you could have given me.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. I cannot take full credit for it. The wording came from Max's football coach like 2 years ago, and it stuck with me. So I pass it on.
Oh my gosh, which coach said that?
I believe that was Coach Licata.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to thank him when I see him for some really good advice. And thank you for passing it to me. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of personal information. Seth is turning 48 years old. I already am 48 years old. Seth is 9 months younger than me. So I enjoy the 3 months that we get to be the same age. And I want to ask you that, as you look back at your 48 years, what's a moment that stands out as a game changer in your personal or professional life?
Wow. There have been so many. How about meeting you? How about marrying you, the birth of our kids? I would say the most recent one was because of you, was we both recently did sessions with the amazing Christina Fletcher, which was a game changer for me. And we had some spiritual epiphanies that resonated with both of us. So I would say that's the most recent one.
Ah, taking a deep breath with that answer. Good answer. Good answer. So, I want to know, what's one piece of business advice that you wish you had known earlier?
Wow. I could write a book on that. So I would probably say it's going to be okay. It's going to work out better than you think. Have faith, don't give up, and focus on where you want to get to, not on where you aren't, because then you just manifest more of that.
Say the last line again.
Focus on where you want to get to, not on the gap between where you are and where you want to
Yes.
be, because then you just manifest a bigger gap.
Okay, you just gave me that advice about myself. So that's really good advice. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that advice. So we're throwing out the word balance, which is in my next question. I guess let's reword it as boundaries. I think that's a better word for you, for what you're teaching us. So you're a CEO, you're a husband, you're a father. You make time for fun. You make time for so many things. Talk about the boundaries of your life and everything that's in it, and how you make it all happen.
I don't the boundary, how I make it all happen. I think you just gotta prioritize, right?
Yeah.
I, you sometimes give me a hard time, but like I will get ready early, take Ella to school, and then go straight to work and be at work by 7:30. There are, I am a lifelong martial artist, and I'm currently in boot camp for my third degree black belt. So I will go to work and then work for half an hour and then go to the dojo half an hour early to practice before class. When we have our boot camp class, sometimes I get there an hour early and work out extra. And then there's the family schedule of be home by whatever time the kids have events. And if they don't have kids events, that schedule gets flexible and I might work later when needed. I think it's just being really, really organized, prioritizing on what do I need to get done, who do I need to be this day, and then figuring out how to make it all work.
And you're really good at, if there is a concert, a game, whatever, you do your very best to be there. And I mean, I want you there, but I also love that sometimes you draw the line with us and you're like, I'm sorry, guys, I have a webinar or I have a meeting, or sometimes you can't come, but you do your best to be at everything for your kids.
Yeah, I think when I think back over, let's say, the last 5 years, I think I've maybe missed two things. One, I was in another city, I was traveling, speaking at an event. And the other one, I had a webinar that had to be that late. And so I couldn't make it. but I think I think I am at like 99% of everything they've got.
Yeah, you really make it a priority. And I like that you use the word priorities because I hear, I talk to more women than men every day. I hear a lot of women tell me that they don't have time for things. And I'm sorry, women, I think that's BS. I think that we make time for what we want to make time for. And I want to make time to work out. So I don't say I don't have time to work out today. I make it happen.
Absolutely. I said that to a potential client the other day who attended a webinar and said, "Well, I don't have time to do a podcast. I don't have half an hour a week." And I said, "Do you think if you wrote down every 15-minute increment of your day, I could find you half an hour?" No, 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 my schedule is jammed. I'm like, Kevin Harrington is my co-host from Shark Tank. If he can find it, you can find it. No, 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 you're not busier than he is. And then and I just said, "What's your favorite TV show?" He said, "Game of Thrones."
Yes.
I said, "Game of Thrones." I said, "Awesome. Skip a Game of Thrones once a week and do a podcast."
So you literally just read my mind. So my advice to all of the mothers listening is when you tell me that you don't have time or you say to someone, I don't have time, I want you to think about, and I'm not taking this away from you. I want you to have your social media time. I want you to have your TV time, but I want you to start to add up how much mindless scrolling you do, how much binge watching you do on TV, and you will find time.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked to people that who are like, "Oh, Cobra Kai came out. I just watched the whole thing." And I'm like, "Okay, there went 9 hours that you could have done something else with if you had just done half an hour a week, one episode a week for 9 weeks, like regular TV used to be. You just gave up 9 hours of your life to Cobra Kai."
Well, and we're good at, Seth helps me with this, but we're watching Yellow Jackets right now. And like, we're really pacing ourselves. So, like, some people will sit on a Sunday, and I'm not bashing you. Good for you. I can't do it. Seth can't do it. They will sit on a Sunday and watch 10 episodes. Like, I can't do that. I need to take breaks from that
Oh
show.
my God, I
And
wouldn't be able to if we watched more than like four. I don't think I would be able to sleep for days.
so Seth is really good at teaching me to do segments of things. So
Little
we do
bits.
we do little bits of Yellow Jackets, which I'm going to try to get him to watch today because we are now moving on to season 2.
Yes.
I did have a nightmare last night,
See?
which I
That's
will
because we
tell you.
watched 2 episodes in a row. It'll do it.
No, I think it was more the movie.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it
Yes.
was
You did.
that.
This is not normal for Rebecca, but she did 4 hours of creepy television yesterday. It was 2 episodes of Yellow Jackets and then a movie about catching a serial killer, which is not normally what she picks. And at the end, I said, "I'm traumatized. What happened to Reese Witherspoon in romantic comedies?"
It just was new on Netflix. I'm a sucker for new movies
Yes,
on.
you are.
So moving on, you have 2 podcasts. Don't tell me
Yeah,
3.
yeah, actually, it is 3.
Okay, before my next question, tell everyone about your podcast.
Okay, so I co-host the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington, the original shark on Shark Tank. That airs a couple times a week. I host the Registered Investment Advisor RIA Industry podcast. That's once a week. And I host the Entrepreneurs Organization Western New York podcast, which is once a month.
Okay, so you've interviewed some of the biggest names in business. I love hearing about your interviews. What's the most surprising lesson you've learned from someone?
That's surprising. That they're
Biggest
not that
lesson. It
that
doesn't
they're
have to
not
be
that
surprising.
that they're not that much smarter than you and me. They have the same number of hours in the day. They don't get extra hours. It's just how they use them and it's their mindset and what they do with those hours. That
Yeah.
I will literally see someone who has a 9-figure, $100 a year business and go, they got baggage, they got issues. I think I'm more confident and more psychologically ahead than that person. What are they doing or being that I'm not that would give me $100 million business? I got to figure that out and ask them, which is the best part of podcast. I get to ask people anything I want and then go figure out how to do it.
Okay. So that is surprising. Let's piggyback on that and say, what was some good advice that they told you?
I'm going to go back to one of my top, let's say, 5 pieces of advice I've ever gotten, which is thanks to actually your brother, who said who you are. We've heard it in lots of different books and tapes and everywhere, but he was the one that the way he worded it stuck with me the most, which is who you are being affects how well what you do works. So spend more time working on who you are being than anything else, and the rest will happen.
So can you give us a concrete example of that? Because that's very spiritual. It's not,
Yes.
yes.
But it is actually concrete business advice because we can have someone who's a prospective client of one of our companies, and if they come in the door, I don't think this is going to work. I've been burned before. I tried this. It's not going to work. Then I say, you know what? You're right. It won't. Don't hire us. And they're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean you don't want me to hire you? Like, if you come into it with that negative mindset, you'll be right. And it won't matter how good marketing we do, it won't work. But if you come in believing, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited to finally get this right and have you guys do this for me. We could do a less than perfect job and it will still work. So it's all about the energy you're putting out there.
Okay, so move that to me and my goal, my main goal that I'm working on, and be me in a more successful capacity.
Okay, so you open the door. I won't be specific about what your goal is, but I will tell you that a pattern I have noticed
Yeah.
is something I recently, thanks to Christina, had the epiphany and stopped doing myself. So I'm just as guilty. Is you spend more time focusing on that you're not there and how much you have left to go and
Uh-huh.
beating yourself up for not being there than you do living as the person who would be where you want to be. So if you acted the role of that person, what would they eat? How would they exercise? What would their thoughts be? You'd magically get there.
I'm definitely doing that, but I hear you. I think that the thing that I think that what I'm doing right is I'm thinking about what I've accomplished.
Yes.
I think what I'm doing wrong is I'm thinking about where I'm not yet.
It's not wrong. It's just not serving you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to fix that. Thank you for the advice. And I want you to know that his business advice translates to personal advice. That
Absolutely.
he uses his business advice in his personal life.
100%.
Yes.
As
So
one goes, so goes the other.
yeah. And I
If
mean, I
there's
think,
crap at home, it shows up at work. If there's crap at work, it shows up at home.
right. That is so true. That is really true. So I want to know, selfishly as your wife, if you could create your dream birthday with no limit, what would it look like?
Well, do I have a budget for this? I mean, let's go fly on a private
No,
jet
let's
somewhere crazy
dream.
and okay, let's go fly on a private jet and go to some amazing resort and I don't know, have a walk on the beach and eat at the world's best restaurant. I don't
Okay, so we're gonna make that happen one day for you.
know. Okay.
Okay. So what's a goal or dream that you have for this coming year in your life?
I've got a lengthy list of goals those are, so I'll just do a couple. One, I obviously in the next month going to earn my third degree black belt in Krav Maga. And number two, so I'm going to give you some goals outside of work. Number two, I would like my screenplay to get what the screenplay that is currently in negotiation, I would like that to actually sell and start production.
Well, and people don't know that about you. And people know what a great businessman you are. People know how successful you are. They don't know that. Tell them what you went to school for, Seth.
My original undergraduate degree in Syracuse was in theater. At the age of 18, my life goal was to be a Broadway star. And that has changed over the years. But yes, one of my hobbies is writing, and in particular screenwriting. So it is on my bucket list to go into a movie theater and see a movie that I wrote on the big screen.
Oh my God, I can picture it. I can totally picture it. That's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
So, what do you think are some major milestones looking back that have shaped your career?
I think we could probably spend all day figuring them all out. Major milestones. Um, okay, if we're doing career, so if we're not counting you and the kids, I would say October '07 when I left AG Edwards, a Fortune 500 financial company I worked for, and started my own two businesses on my own that day, and pulled the trigger. I think getting our first clients. I think the day I got the idea to start every business. I think the connections and relationships I've made in those worlds. And the people I get to text or talk to who I used to sit in the back of the giant seminar room and go, oh my God, that guy's amazing. I can't wait I wish I had the money to buy his product. And now go text him and go, hey, I got a question for you. So I think if you connect the dots backwards, I mean, there's a million dots. So I apologize. I don't have an easy, concrete answer to that question.
That was a lot of great answers. You don't have to apologize. That was a great answer. Well, and I think that you have had so much go on the past year. I mean, I could probably help you with this if you don't have an answer, but what do you think was a project or something monumental at work this year?
There's been a few, as you mentioned. I think I have reinvented our core service on the podcasting and publishing side several times in the last year to make it better, to make it more consistent for us and easier for us to deliver. I'm super excited to see how that pans out because we're in the process of getting the first clients for the new innovations. I'm super excited to see how that turns out. I've invented some things that are going well. um I, I've taken one trip and met an amazing person who helped us out a lot. So there's been a lot.
What you do in a year? Pretty amazing. I am gonna
Yeah,
preface.
two of those businesses got started in the last year.
Oh my God, Seth. So I want to preface this question by telling everyone that my advice to Seth, oh, frequently is that we learn more from our challenges and I'm going to put failures in quotes because it's really not a failure if you don't give up.
Correct.
You learn more from that than you do from your successes. And I do think we need to also analyze successes so that we can keep doing that over again and build from it. But I want you to share with people what you've learned from a challenge over this last, several few months.
So I think you have to, if I had to sum up everything from the last year, you have to inspect what you expect. You can't just assume that people are going to do what you told them the way that you told them, even if you think you're very clear. I think it's almost like parenting. You have to have a few rules and repeat them often. I mean, we've had multiple instances in multiple entities. I literally had one in Prime Media Networks over the weekend where I was very clear about something that needed to get done, and the person doing it, even though I said it twice, misunderstood it and did the exact opposite. And that caused a problem that we didn't even discuss. Thankfully, it's now fixed. But I'm like, how did you miss that? I can look at the messages and see I literally wrote it out. So I think you've got to have systems to inspect what you expect and make sure it goes the way it's supposed to and delivers what you promised.
And it's hard you're a CEO, I was a supervisor. I wasn't the CEO. But it's hard because you don't want people to feel micromanaged, but you want to make sure things are done the way that they're supposed to get done.
Right. And we only have to micromanage if they're not doing what they're supposed to. If they were doing what they were supposed to, we could, and they did it consistently, we could leave them alone.
So I think that that is really interesting what you said, because that goes with our children too, is that they build trust with us where we start to let go more and more.
Yep.
Right. I would agree with that. So, can you give some advice to the entrepreneur listening who is just starting out, wants to start out?
I guess I need to write it. Maybe that's book number 10 or 11, but that I need to write. But who am I to give that advice? So I would just say that I'm thinking, give me a second here. There is no greater laboratory for developing yourself as a person than trying to start and grow and manage a business. The highs are higher than almost anywhere else. The lows are almost lower than anywhere else. It will challenge you, shape you, stretch you, stress you in ways you can't possibly imagine. But if you can persist and come through the other side, it will have taken you to be a person that you may never have even dreamed you could be.
Mm, that's beautiful. I think that who are you to give this advice? Honey, you have started so many businesses that I can't even name them. I still can't name the new one. I have to work on this, people. This is my goal. I'm going to be able to list my husband's businesses. So that
I
is my
better
wife.
start. Once you pull that off, I'll start some more.
No, I totally support you. You know that. But I think that, I'm wording this question because it's not on my sheet and I want to ask it. So you're really good at taking risks. I don't have that skill like you do. The only skill I have from that comes from anything I've learned from you. But how are you able to take the jump, take the leap, take the risk?
So first of all, you don't give yourself enough credit. As a mother, and as a businesswoman, you take risks every single day. You're just not labeling it the same. How am I able to do that? What's the alternative? First, what's the worst that's going to happen? It won't work out. Okay, so we'll do something else.
Yeah,
And
that's
what's the
true.
alternative? I would think like when I think the biggest decision that we probably made, other than marriage and kids, was when I, with your blessing, left A.G. Edwards and started my own companies, the first two. And had you said no, probably, I don't know, we might not have done it. But that was scary. I had to go borrow the money. And I think it was, I said, what's the alternative? I'm going to be stuck here, and these things I foresee happening will make it worse, and I'll have to work twice as hard to make the same money based on what I think is going to happen to this company giant Fortune 500 company I'm working for. Pulling it off myself to me is less risky than staying here and going backwards. I turned out to be right. And almost everybody I worked at that company with left later, years later, when all of the things that I had guessed would happen happened. I had just gone ahead of the curve and built my own safety net, however risky you want to define it as.
Yeah. Well, I love that you said what's the worst that could happen because I think that helps us calm down. And I also think you said something really important is 18 years ago, you borrowed the money to start your company and paid it all back. And people don't know that. And that's advice for people to hear.
Yes, I paid it all back in the first 3 years, which was a wonderful feeling to not have that monthly debt payment anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you think your goals have changed over the last year?
I think they've gotten bigger in terms of the type of impact I want to have on the world and the number of people I want to affect and reach.
I love that answer. So I know this because I live this with you. So tell everyone how you keep your team motivated and engaged during tough times.
I think so. There is a work person that you love as a social worker, you love personality tests. There is a work related one we have all done called Working Genius, which tells you what you're best at and what you're not best at work. One of my two, and it gives you your two biggest strengths. One of mine is it's called galvanizing in Working Genius, which is basically being the cheerleader, which I learn from you every single day. So it's really painting the vision of here's where we want to go. Let's get excited about how we're going to get there.
Yeah. And it's contagious. It comes from the top.
Yes.
Yeah. I see that. I see you live that. Can you share a success story from your company that you're proud of?
Wow. I mean, which one? Yes, there's a lot of them, thankfully, depending on the company that you were talking about. So here, I'll do some quick ones. Silver Spoon has helped people retire sooner than they thought and stay retired. We have a client who was having health issues and we said, hey, you can actually retire earlier than you thought. So they're thrilled. How to find money for college. Every year we save people a large amount of money on college tuition. Our most important client coming up is my son, so hoping that holds true in the next month for him and my family. Market domination, we are helping those business owners generate more business for their business. BMD Publishing, those podcasts are building relationships that change lives. And the other two are helping business owners earn more, keep more, and be more. And Prime Media Networks is reaching lots of people with empowering messages. So, I mean, I didn't know if you wanted like a specific name example or if
No,
my summary is okay.
your summary is fantastic. And I hope that you heard what I tell Seth regularly is he helps so many people. You are such a helper. And, people hear about, how the marketing is helping businesses. People hear about how you're helping families afford college. I think that what people don't hear as often, because of the stage of life you and I are in, is that you're helping people feel okay being able to retire and feeling able to retire.
Yeah, all of those, yes. And the way I figured it out backwards is I am a storyteller. And every business helps clients tell their stories in different ways, whether it's telling a financial story to colleges so you get more financial aid, or telling a business owner's story to the right clients so you get more of them. It's all about how can we help you tell your story better?
Oh, I like that. That's really good. That's
Thank
really
you.
good. So, how do you think being a father influences you at work?
It gives me the best motivation to work and to help other people. It's because I'm doing it for my kids and for you. And that's the most important reason to get up in the morning. I think it has helped me stay calmer, manage stress better, manage people better, be a better leader because I'm leading my family as well. And I'm learning lessons from my wife and wonderful children every single day.
That's awesome. Honey, how do you manage your stress?
Well, I have an amazing therapist wife who's very helpful. I also work out. I am a martial artist. I read, I meditate. I have a whole bunch of hobbies. There's a list.
I'm glad that there's a list and I'm glad that it all helps you. How do you envision the future of market domination in particular?
How do I bigger, better, more staff, more clients, creating more jobs, helping more businesses grow, innovating new ways for them to reach their ideal clients?
What about fatherhood goals?
I'm working on being present, being calmer, being less reactive, finding pattern interrupts in the humor in teenagerhood. I'm gonna go with that.
Oh my God. Seth has been brilliant lately, and I'm going to share this with everyone in case it works in their house too. So, we have two teenage daughters. We have a teenage son too. And our daughter, how would you describe what you're reacting to with humor?
I am reacting to her being a feisty, cranky teenager who doesn't want anyone to talk to her, who only wants to do the talking and wants relationships completely on her terms and
Oh
wants to live
boy.
in her own little bubble.
Oh boy. Okay. So instead of getting upset
Which I tried
regular,
and failed at. I got upset. It didn't work
Seth and I have
many
tried.
times.
Okay, so what we have tried, and this is a parenting lesson because you've got to try things and look at it as an experiment. You're figuring your kids out, and we're going to warn you that you're going to figure your kids out, and then you're going to have to do it again and again and again. So we tried using warmth and sweetness in response. We tried being firm. We tried being calm. I would say none of those worked, Seth.
None of those worked.
Okay, so Seth decided to try humor. Can you give them an example?
Why are you talking to me? I don't want. It's fine. Whatever. I'm just gonna do it. I'm fine. Just leave. Whatever. So that might be an actual quote from our daughter that we are referring to. And what I have done is said, I gave up on all of the other things that did not work and said, well, you know what? It wasn't thoughtful. It was just sarcastic. It was me going, if you can't beat them, join them. And one day, as soon as she said something like that, I imitated her and took it further and then she laughed and the tension went out of her. And then we actually had a productive moment and I was like, ooh, that worked. I'm going to keep doing it. And it made my wife laugh, which was most important because she was getting mad. So I'm like, I'm going to try and remember to just keep doing this. And it has made a significant improvement.
It is a fantastic pattern interrupt, and it makes Lily and I giggle, and it is fantastic.
Yes, she will either go she'll either try not to laugh and go, stop making fun of me, but she's smiling when she says it as opposed to being cranky, or she laughs and goes, fine. Like, it's like, you got me.
Oh my God, it's so funny. So thank you for figuring out what works, because we have tried many things.
Yes.
And you need teamwork because you need your partner to help you figure things out with your children. So as far as your wife goes, do you have any marital goals for this year?
Yeah, keep you happy, keep you loving being married to me, and be calm, patient, and non-reactive also with you.
Love it.
Although, for the record, you give me way fewer reasons to react to anything than Lily does. Lily is daily.
Listen, I try. I've made a lot of improvements, and I keep working on it.
You're doing great.
Okay, so finally, what birthday wish do you have for this year?
Aren't you supposed to do that when you blow out the candles and not tell anyone so it comes true?
Okay, well, you told us about your screenplay goal. Is there
Okay,
anything
so I
else
told you about my martial arts goal and my screenplay goal. And yes, I have specific revenue goals for the businesses in terms of where I would like them to get to by the end of the year.
Okay, so don't tell us what you're going to say when you blow out the candles.
Okay.
I'm very excited to celebrate another birthday with you. I don't know how many birthdays, 21 birthdays. I'm going to say this is our 21st birthday together.
Yeah, because yes, that was the first couple, yeah, second month we were dating was my birthday, and you took me to the Skylon Tower.
That was awesome. I don't know
Yeah,
where the heck I got that idea.
I had never been there.
So our tradition tends to be that Seth wants to go to the Chop House for his birthday.
It is,
So
yes,
that
that
is
is
what,
my favorite restaurant.
so I am looking forward to our date
Me too.
and some good steak.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to another year with you.
Amen.
And thank you for enlightening us with your intelligence and expertise.
My pleasure.
And I love having you on as a guest.
I love producing a show where I get to be your guest.
Seth is the reason that this exists. So
Okay, I don't produce it, my fabulous team does, but yes, my company provides the service.
Seth suggested this podcast that I absolutely love. Good job, honey.
Thanks.
This is Rebecca Greene, and I want to remind everyone to spend every day laughing, learning, and loving.
Thank you for tuning in to the Whiny Palooza podcast. If you like what you heard, please be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. While you are there, leave a review. I love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.